right into the subject today. All right. When a teenager commits a serious crime, who should be held responsible? Again, when a teenager commits a serious crime, who should be held responsible? Is it just the teen, or should the parents also face consequences? Today, we're asking one of the toughest questions in America. When does parenting become legal responsibility? Real talk. When a teenager commits a serious crime, who shall be held responsible? Is it just the teen, or should parents also face consequences? Today, we're asking one of the toughest questions in America. When does parenting become legal responsibility? Somebody talk to me. And this is Real Talk, people. I appreciate you for tuning in. This is your boy, Martin G., a.k.a. The Crime Chaser, live, uncut, unedited. And this is one of the toughest questions that we have among the Black community, dealing with teen takeovers, teen crimes, teen drugs, all of it. Really. When a teenager commits a serious crime, who should be held responsible? Is it just the teen, or should parents also face consequences? I'm asking the question. Today, we're asking one of the toughest questions in America. When does parenting become legal responsibility? I need y'all to help me. We want to call in and talk about what's going on with our parents and all that stuff. And it's real. It is definitely real. And I appreciate you guys tuning in this early afternoon or early morning. And haven't been on in a while, and I appreciate you guys. And it's been good morning, Nurse Pretty. I see you. And we want to get with it. We definitely want to get with it. I tell you, it's a lot going on. It is a lot going on, and I need you guys to walk with me. Yeah. Work with me. All right, I'm put it on the scale. We got the call-in number, and let me update that number too while we're doing that. Okay. I want you guys to call in. 872-299-0808. 872-299-0808. Yeah. All right. Call in number. We got it on the screen. And this has been a lot going on with these teen takeovers, and a lot going on. Now, what is parental responsibility? Parents have a moral responsibility to raise, supervise, and guide their children. Legal responsibility is different from moral responsibility. Real talk. Now, another question I should ask: should parents be punished for the crimes they didn't personally commit? Real talk. Parents have a responsibility, a moral responsibility to raise and supervise and guide their children. Legal responsibility is different from moral responsibility. All right. Somebody called me, but that's the wrong call. I don't want that call. All right. 872-299-0808, people. Sorry about that. 872. Yep. Should parents, not your parents, should parents be punished for crimes they didn't personally commit? Wow. I need somebody to talk to me. I know they're going to be in the chat talking to me. All right. Miss Pretty Nurse said their parents need to be held accountable, and those teens need to be drafted, and their parents can't control them. Chicago, born and raised. Okay. All right. Marcus Stewart. What's up, Marcus Stewart? He said the parents. Okay. So I want to pose a question to the listening audience. How many times that you have done something wrong and your parents told you not to do that? To be real honest. And your parents told you not to do it, but you decided to go out there and do it anyway. How many times? Real talk. How many times? Call in, Marcus, 872-299-0808. 872-299-0808. All right. I like this. This is a great topic. Now, should parents be punished for the crimes that they did not personally commit? And we got to look up what the law says about it. Parents can sometimes be held financially liable for damage caused by their minor children. Some states have parental responsibility laws. Parents may face charges if they knowingly allow dangerous behavior, neglect a child to provide access to weapons. Real talk. Wow. We're going to talk. This is no judgment zone, but we're going to put it out there. We got a caller. We definitely got a caller. And they're calling in. And we accepting calls. And I know it's early. A lot of us is at work, but this is the time that I had to do it. And I'm doing it at the time that I had to do it. All right. All right. Let's get it on. All right. Caller, are you there? I'll make sure my caller's there. All right.
This is Nurse Teddy.
Oh, okay. It's the nurse calling in. All right. Hey, nurse.
I'm Martin. This is Nurse Petty. How are you?
I called her pretty, not petty. I said pretty. Go ahead. Nurse. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. But anyway, as a person that's born and raised in Chicago, I now live in the south suburbs. This is unheard of. And these parents absolutely need to be held accountable. Because if your kids don't know that this is something that you don't do in regards to tearing up other people's property, then they do need to be held accountable.
Okay. Now, okay, when you say accountable, in what way? How?
They're out there behaving like this.
Okay. Now,
it's okay, yeah. It's a travesty that these kids are out there behaving like this. We didn't do that when we were coming up. My kids didn't do that. So this is either you need to be held accountable for your kids' actions, or we need to go back to boot camping and drafting, because they clearly need some discipline that they haven't gotten in years.
So, I have a question for you. Have
Yes,
you
sir.
always listened to your parents when you've done things?
I did not, but I always had a fear of my parents. I had a fear of somebody telling my parents they saw me doing something. So that's what these kids don't have. They don't have fear of their parents. And when you don't have fear of your parents, you act all kind of ways. We used to be scared that somebody would see us showing out and would tell our parents before we got home. They don't have that anymore because these kids don't fear their parents. They don't fear anybody. And as a person that has worked inside the school system, as a school nurse, these behaviors are out of control, and they're partly due because of the parents.
Now,
I'm just telling you how it is,
okay,
Martin.
okay. I'm not here to debate with you. I promise. I'm just okay. How do we hold the parents accountable for their children behavior? That's what I really want to know. Give me some ideas what we should do. Hold the parents accountable for it.
When I was, like I said, when we were growing up, our parents didn't have it this easy. When you take discipline out the home, that's a whole nother different ball game. These parents can't discipline their kids properly because they're scared of them. And now you have social media. I'm just blessed to say I raised mine, and I'm a grandparent now. But at the end of the day, I feel for these parents because I don't have the answer for you, Martin. I don't know. I know what I would have did, but at the end of the day, this is a whole different generation. These are these kids don't even have respect for elderly.
Okay.
You know,
Now,
so what do we? They don't have respect for their teachers, their educators. They're
so
not learning nothing in school. These teachers are so busy diffusing stuff. They don't get no education.
okay, I'm still not getting what I want from you. I'm trying
Well,
to.
I don't know what to say. How do the parents have to? I mean, I guess you need to start finding the parents because if you don't know where your kids are, I mean, come on now.
No, okay,
I
okay,
don't know what to say.
okay,
I'm
okay. You worked in the school system, right? Using a nurse. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, suppose, okay, just say that I'm a teenager. My name Martin. I'm a teenager. Okay. My parent knows she sent me to school. My mom sent me to school with my father. So I decide to lay hands on a teacher. Okay. Now, do you as an adult or as a teacher blame the parent because I decided as a teenager to lay hands on a teacher showing out. So, I mean, how do we? I mean, I'm trying to look at this in a microscope. Be fair to the both parent and the child. So I'm not taking up for no bad behavior, but how do we deal with something like that when a student been sent to school by his parents and he
Oh,
decides that he want to lay hands on a teacher? How do we handle that?
you know what? The sad part is it happens every day,
I know, but I'm,
and
I'm
I don't know how to handle it. I know as an adult how I would handle it, but that would be the wrong way to handle it. So I'm just like I said, I don't know. I just see it happening, and it's sad. It's so terribly sad. We don't have answers, Martin.
but
These
we
parents don't even have answers.
but see the thing is, I know we don't have the answers. That's why we're here. When we're trying to get a solution of things, we're asking questions. Should we do this or should we do that? That ain't gonna work and all that. So what I'm trying to do,
Well,
without judging, I'm trying to do open up my phone lines and ask you as a mother, as a grandmother, what is it that we can do? What punishment? What accountability? Because I'm quite sure, as you being a grandmother, you didn't do everything right that your parents told you to
I
do.
did not.
So now,
I absolutely did not.
right? So we gotta look at all this. We gotta look at all this now.
Right.
We gotta give play because our generation, me and your generation, wasn't perfect. We didn't do everything right. We had sex, we smoke, and we did things, we had fun, and we did a lot of things, and it wasn't all right. Now, I would say it probably was a little safer when we was coming up, but than it is now, more peer pressure. But it's got to be something. We got to measure this to something. How are we going to hold these? Do we? My thing is, I'm 14 years old. I know I'm coming to school to learn, not to put my hand on the school teacher or any staff. And I decide to do it. Now, and I know when we're not under the supervision of our parents or mother or father, we probably can get into anything as a teenager. And that's what we're seeing today. Now, the parents, they have to go to work. They can't sit in school all day and stand over their child. They got to be able to trust what they taught their son or daughter to put it in action when they're not in front of them. And we know a lot of that is not going on. And I even myself, now around my mom, when she was living, I was an angel. But when she turned her back and away from around her, I did all type of little dirty, devious things. And that's what we're witnessing right now today. We're witnessing. Should we blame the parents Or should we blame the teenager and we say, hey, they know right from wrong. You at the age of accountability. You know that you are going to school to learn. You have no business putting your hands on a teacher or a staff member. I'm just saying, nurse, I'm not trying to put you on the
I
spot.
just think we need to start holding these kids accountable. Once you reach a certain age, your parents have to let you. We have those talks with men. Boys and girls. I mean, you just don't have to be held accountable for your actions. But at the end of the day, there still needs to be something when you continue to break the rules and laws and do this much damage. I think the city is just. I don't know, Mark. I don't know what to say, but I'm just lucky I don't have the, uh, you know, I'm not raising nobody right now. So I'm just grateful for that. But I feel for these parents because these kids don't fear them. They have no fear, and they don't hold them
I'm live.
accountable for anything.
Yes. Yeah. So
They
I
don't hold
understand.
them
So
accountable for
I
anything.
understand. What about the parents that are doing everything in their power to keep their family together, to raise their children in the right direction? And she might have three that's on course doing what she asked them to do. And it's just that one out of three or four, whatever, that's doing bad. So do we remove her, lock her up, and forget about the three that's doing well? How do we handle these things?
No,
Yeah.
no. I said a long time ago they need to bring back boot camps. What happened to boot camps? These kids were so unruly, they sent them someplace to give them some discipline, some structure, and led them on to a life of military or whatever college, whatever path they decided to take, whether it was vocational or whatever. But they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. They took all the trades, most of them, out of the schools. So,
Mm-hmm.
these kids have a lot of energy build up, and
Now,
like I said, I feel for these parents because
nurse,
the internet is actually raising most of
yeah,
these
yeah,
kids.
nurse. Let's get down to the hardcore. See, as a parent, tell me in your own opinion, in your own word, what would you do if your son go out there? God forbid, we know your children are grown and do something against what you strongly disagree with, and you don't practice, and you tell him not to do that, and he go out there and beat up a teacher. What would you want to happen to you?
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell him one time before that even happens.
No,
You
I'm
you
saying
you at
no,
a
no, no,
certain
no,
age,
no.
you go.
I'm saying it happened. What are you going to do? What is it that you want to do? It happened. We
He
just
gonna have to be held. He gonna have to be held accountable for his own action. If you put your hands on an adult, if you put your hands on anybody that, and you're not trying to defend your own personal safety, then you got to be held accountable for that. You got to be held accountable for it, no matter what led up to it. You
okay.
have to be held accountable for your actions
So okay,
and your
now
behavior.
hold on. Now we don't want him, his actions. We want the parent. We're going after you. Do you think that's fair as a parent? You didn't slap nobody. You
I
didn't
don't know
put
who's
your hand on nobody. You was at work. You was doing what a parent do. You go out, provide, get a job and all that, provide, keep a roof, clothes and things like that, have a safe home. You was doing everything as a parent that you can do, possibly do. But should I hold you, nurse?
Well, after that first time, we all make mistakes, but there shouldn't be a second time. Because at that point, now you're making adult decisions that's going to affect me taking care of your other siblings. It's time for me to make adult decisions so that won't happen. But at the end of the day, I mean, every situation is absolutely different. Every child out there jumping on cars and jumping on windows and participating in these teen takeovers has totally different circumstances. You have some out there with mamas and daddies at home. But it all needs to be had. It has to be some type of something put in place that prevents the taxpayers from suffering behind this.
So what I'm telling you,
Taxpayers suffer
okay,
behind this when they profiteer and
okay.
cause the damage.
So hold it. So you telling me? Well, hold on. I'm not saying you're telling me. I'm asking you. Your 15-year-old son. We know you don't have a son 15 years old. Go out there, commit a crime, and the authorities, which is law enforcement or whatever, wants to hold you accountable. Do you think that's fair? Honestly.
I don't think that's fair. But if it's something that's big, if it's something that's happening consistently over and over again, that's a different story.
Hold it, nurse. Now you
absolutely not that first time.
Yeah. No. Well, okay. What
that
about
first time? Everybody makes mistakes.
Now, hold on. Hold on, nurse. Now you weren't just talking that way. You were just saying they need to be held accountable and punished, in so many words. So, but now
they do, Martin, they absolutely
but
do.
When I pointed the finger at you, you backpedal. You say, "Oh well, no." See what I'm telling. This is what I'm telling.
Martin, see, you know what, Martin?
I know.
You know what
I'm just telling you. See,
you just said everybody makes a mistake. But if this is a pattern with this youth or
hold on, I got a call. Hold it. Hey, caller. Hold on. I got a call. Hello, caller.
Yes, sir. How you
Still nurse paid, Martin.
Yeah. Okay, I got a call. Okay, Miss Nurse, let me just say this. See, this is what I don't want us to do. And I'm not picking on you. I promise I'm not picking on you. We're easy to say what they hold on, but I'm trying to get you to see something. It's easy for you to say, lock them up, hold the parents accountable. Then when the finger's pointed at you, now you want the circumstance to be looked at. It's different now.
No, Mark, that's not what I'm saying. Just like you said, we all make mistakes.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you.
If that child makes that mistake and that child is educated, then if that behavior is consistent and repetitive, and they keep doing the same thing over and over again, the same foolish nonsense, of course. But you have to take drastic measures. But at the end of the day, you have to hold the parents accountable. I believe everybody's entitled to one mistake. But that's or a learning experience or whatever, teachable moment. But at the end of the day, we still have to find a solution for the parents that can't control their kids, which is what it boils down to.
Okay. Hold it right there.
You can't control your kids.
Yeah. Okay. Hold it right there. I don't think none of us can control our kids because they got their own thought pattern of what they're going to do anyway. When they work around us.
I would beg to differ. I know a lot of kids that respect their parents and their parents' decisions, and they listen to their parents. They're not out here wilding out, making their own decisions, doing what they want to do.
Now,
and they may be the exception, but don't say all of them.
You just say earlier that you did some things that your parents told you not to do. We don't want to know what it is. I'm just saying. Now, I don't know too many of us as adults right now that broke some rules that we was taught to go against, and we did it anyway. And we ain't got to go into detail what it was. We're not doing this. Ain't no confession or anything like that. This is a no judgment zone. But just hold it right there, nurse. Let's see what the next caller have to say. Don't go nowhere, Miss Nurse. Come on, caller. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, how you doing, Martin?
This
is Street.
How you doing?
Good to hear from you. So, 24 years of law enforcement, being a juvenile officer, and I'm retired now. I do some work for the government, but I think intervention and responsibility got to coexist. Let the record show, let the truth be told, many households have lost control. And I don't think you can really compare the culture now and the Black family now to when we was brought up. I'm 54. I think you about 58, 59, Martin. And it was a difference. I do believe that a certain amount of fear is important. And if we look back in our generation, that's what stopped us from doing a lot of goofy, crazy stuff. We had limits because, as I heard the young lady, the nurse say, hey, you was afraid for your parent to find out, or you was afraid to go too far because you knew what the consequences was going to be. So I do believe a certain amount of fear that has been stripped from at least the Black families was important, but it's a different culture now. And I think a lot of families really need some intervention. I can remember as being a police officer and a juvenile officer, I used to get calls of, and this is going back maybe 7 years ago, of mothers would call, I can't get my 12-year-old son to go to school. I can remember those calls. And when I went to those calls and really looked into the family structure, it was all messed up. And the parents had lost control of 12 years old. So I think intervention, we just spent a bunch of money on people that weren't supposed to be here. Intervention, and also I believe that responsibility goes hand in hand. They have to be implemented to bring a balance. That's would be my suggestion.
Okay, as a law enforcement, I'm asking you as law enforcement, could a good parent still raise children who make terrible decisions?
Yes. Yes, because there's many reasons why that I've seen in my experience, in my career, why that happens with good parents, kind of lose control. It could be things as divorce, it could be separation, it could be living conditions, it could be that parent that's working all these jobs and cannot really be there for her family or his family as should be. But it still goes back. I think most of the responsibility does fall on the parent. Let me tell you why. And we know that this doesn't happen, but practically, when you lay down and have intercourse and have a baby, you give up a lot of your own freedoms. Even if you don't know how to be that parent, it's your job to find out, how can I be the best parent for my children? Not just buying them stuff, not just giving them their essentials, that's given, but pouring into them, showing them love, teaching them respect, not doing things that will promote them to be otherwise. That's the parent's responsibility. Will that totally get us there? Probably not, but it would get us closer than what we are, as the other lady said. Part of the reason is the system. I think it's systematic. There's laws that have came into place that prevents children from having to give respect to their parents, to law enforcement, to pastors, anybody else. So it's a complex question, but I do believe good parents have situations where kids do bad things. That does happen.
Okay. Now, I got a list of like 4 or 5 things when it's not the parents' fault. Okay. One is parents that did everything possible. 2, teens secretly plan criminal acts. Peer pressure, gang influence, social media influence, and mental health issues. This one, I believe, is not really the parents' fault. We've all been taught to do the right thing. Most of us, I would say. But when we got outside, away from supervision of our parents, whoever, our guardian or foster mother, grandmother, or biological mother, we did otherwise. We was taught, go to school, learn, don't mess around with gangs, don't do this, don't it. And some of us did everything that our parents taught us not to do, and we got involved in that. And we got good parents. And I don't want no parent on here to feel guilty because your son shot and killed a neighbor. And in your power, you've done everything that's possible to do as a concerned parent to raise your child the right way and do the right thing. It is when they not under their mom or dad's supervision, away from them, at school, with friends, and they make their own decisions. Teenagers are not robots. They make decisions. And sometimes it comes back and hunt them for a lifetime. They make decisions. Now, this is a question that I posed a long time ago, and I say it's hot on the internet now, but I've been said it, I can prove it. If as a parent, my brother, law enforcement and nurse, if we can take credit for our sons and daughters graduating, getting good grades, or being a star athlete, why can't we take the credit if he goes shoot somebody or hurt somebody or get pregnant. We don't want that part, but we can always take the credit for the good that our children do. But the bad they do, no, that's not me. We don't take credit for that. Maybe, can one of you guys comment on that? Somebody help me out. I'm not trying to put nobody on the spot. This is no judgment zone. Can anybody help me out on that? Give me a thought.
Well, Martin, as I said, okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and step back in the chat, Martin.
Okay.
I'm gonna get back down in the chat.
Okay.
All right.
Well, as I said earlier, it has to be a balance. True enough, from our sinful nature, everybody wants to be a part of things that are good when things are going good, but it takes a certain individual to be acceptant to when things are not good. But by law, if your kid is under 17, as a parent, you're responsible for him or her and for their actions. Now, is certain stuff stoppable? Some situations it's not. But at the same time, you still are held accountable. That's the reason why if your son is 16 and go and do something, they're calling the parents first. Why do they do that versus your son is 18 or 19? Because the parents are responsible. They got to get a hold to an adult. I just think there's that small group of people. I've seen it when I was raised in the Wild Hundreds in Roseland, and there were a few people that, hey, their parents just couldn't get to them. They was just different. They was just kind of out there, and they just chose to be that way. But you got to understand, a kid really doesn't know sometimes the magnifications of their actions. They'll do something, and because their minds don't process things fully, and they don't think it out until the consequences. Now, oh man, I didn't know that was going to happen. Man, I didn't think about that part. How many times have our kids lied to us? Did you get any cookies out of there? No, I ain't getting no cookies. They got cookie crumbs all on their face. They didn't think it out.
Mm-hmm.
They forgot about the cookie crumbs that's on their lips. And that's just how their minds are, But I do believe that some of that is parents' responsibility in this fashion. We see our kids doing little stuff that adds into big stuff. I think you said on your show many times when you be talking about the crime and the gun, your son is carrying a gun, but you don't say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You see the bullets being dropped in the bathroom, but you act like you don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Then when something big happened, see, I didn't know, no, it's the small things that we failed to address, or at least make them aware of it. But here's the truth, Martin. In many cases, parents are scared as hell of their kids. They're scared to challenge them on anything. And that's the part of losing control. So what do? What mode do most parents go in? Being their friend. Because I'm hoping if I be nice to them, they'll do the right thing. And let's be honest. Most of the time, I would say maybe 70% of the time, other people got more influence on your child than what you do, even in good family structures. As you said before, the peer pressure now is different than when me and you came up. Yeah. It's different.
Much different.
It is. We have to accept it, and sometimes there's no reference. So what I did this 4th of July, because I got some YNs in my family, and I asked them specifically, why are y'all generation doing these team takeovers and tearing up people's stuff? And I told one of my cousins, I said, if I took your phone from you right now, and I tore it up, what would you want to do to me? I said, you want to do something to me, wouldn't you? Yeah, uncle, yeah. I said, why would you want to do something to me? Because I took your property and tore it up, right? Well, yeah. I said, so how do y'all think it's okay to tear up other people's property, but you don't want it done to you? And so I said and asked them, I say, why is this happening? How did we get here and how can we correct it? 2 of them said, well, a lot of it is that, we don't really have a lot of respect for our home stuff happening in our homes, and, we kind of get to the streets and, we kind of can do what we want to do. Then they said, well, law enforcement allows us to do it. Ain't nobody going to stop us. Then the third was said, well, I asked them, because I heard you say this. I never paid attention to this, but I heard you say it. It's more females than it is males. And I asked them that, why is there so many females in its teen takeover than it is guys, you know? And they really couldn't answer that one. But I stopped to listen to them because I want to hear from their point of view.
Yes.
What is going on? Why do they do what they do? And I asked them in their opinion, how could we stop this or at least slow it down? See, we need to stop and listen to our children before they start doing this stuff. Have these conversations with them, not judging them, but just hearing what is their culture like, because we're trying to match it up to when we was their age. Mm-hmm. It ain't the same.
It ain't the same. Preach, brother.
There's no reference point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no reference point. So I learned a lot from, now some of them was drinking, they were smoking their little weed and stuff, but I wanted to hear them out because I want to understand what they see and how they feel. Mm-hmm. You know, that's all I got to say on that.
Good. And I want to say this too. I think I said it yesterday. I did a little talk yesterday when I was online. A lot of our teenagers are hooked on drugs. And I'm not just talking about marijuana, weed. I'm talking about they doing pills, lean. And they are under influence when they're doing some of these things. Real talk. No one wants to talk about that.
That's true.
And you've been in law enforcement for many years. And it's just, to me, I think that every crime that a teenager commits, they need to be tested for drugs. And we're going to find out that a lot of these crimes are influenced by drugs that they're using. I'm telling you, a young person can pop a pill. You can't smell no pill. There's no odor. You just got to know his reactions. This is what they say. They call themselves, I'm on demon time. So in other words, I'm not really at myself, but I'm not responsible for what I do. Now, I've heard of situations where a young man popped a pill and killed everybody in the house, almost, just about. And when he sobered down, he couldn't believe that happened. So we have to address a lot of other little things that's promoting this behavior. And I've been told by some young people that pop pills. They said, well, Martin, whatever last state of mind that you in, that's the mindset you're going to be in. It's going to elevate. If you're in a sexual state of mind, that's what you're going to want to do. If you're in a killing state of mind, that is what you want to do. If you feeling down, that's how you're going to feel. So I'm saying this, I don't know how they feel because I've never popped a pill to get high with. So I'm saying in my mind, we have to look at it from their perspective. Now, I hear a lot of us, even myself, well, back in my day, we didn't do that. We live in a different day and different time. The people that we're dealing with, young people, they're much wiser. But the scripture said they're wiser but weaker. They don't have some of the things that we had back in our day. We could turn on, we ain't going to do that. Well, I fear my neighbor. My neighbor see me, I'm not going to do that. So we're dealing with young people that we want to throw away in the furnace, lock up, but when it comes to one of ours, we want to give them a second chance. We got to be careful what we say out of our mouth. The scripture said the power of life and death is in the tongue. So we got to be careful what energy that we put out there. The same energy that we put on somebody else's son and daughter, we got to have the same energy for ourselves too as well. I believe that. Now, your daughter got a GPA of 3.0 or 2.0, whatever. Now, all of a sudden, she's 16, she's pregnant. Now, you brag about her grades, but the pregnancy, the teen pregnancy, now you got a problem, and you should have a problem with that. That's not me. I didn't have my child until I got married. I had a husband. That's you. That is you. So we have to look at some things. We got to pull out a magnifying glass and look at some of these problems. Oh, we got a caller. I'm going to let the caller come in. Hey, caller. How you doing, caller?
Hello.
Hey, how you
Hi,
doing?
how you doing?
Good, good. What's your comment and thought?
This is Natasha.
Hey, Natasha.
This
Hey, I
is
see you in the comment.
Natasha.
Hey,
I
Natasha.
wanted to comment on the topic. This is a very great topic.
Thank you.
As the lady has said, that we came up, we didn't have all this nonsense. I came up in the city of Chicago Street, 89th Street, 79th Street, 59th Street, 23rd Street. I mean, you know, all of the West Side. We didn't have all of this. But the issue is, I agree. I think there should be some type of fines. If you're going to hit a teacher, baby, you should be as responsible for your action.
Okay. All right.
I think there should be, like, you know, like how when you go somewhere and they say, well, your first offense, your second offense, your third, that will piss the parent off because they're going to feel like I got to go to work and pay for your problems.
Okay.
I got to go to work and pay for your problem. Now, you know it's going to be a problem when they get back home.
Uh-huh.
Because now the parent, they putting that in the parents, like the sister said. Back then, we had a fear of our parents. I know I can raise my hand. I remember driving my uncle's car, and the police got behind us. They didn't say, oh, we taking you to jail. They said, no, y'all stay right in the position that y'all in. We're going to call your parents so they can see what y'all just did. And I said, man, please take me to jail because I don't want the consequences of what I'm about to face. See, if you put some pressure on the parents, then they'll start responding. Then if you say, if your kid got a gun in the house, that's your house. That ain't the kid live there, but that's your responsibility. You're going to get fined for that. Anytime you go in people's pockets, they're going to have an issue.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any teenagers?
Oh, I have 5 children. They all grown. But
Okay.
yes, I did have teenagers.
Okay.
And my thing was, when my kids came up, I would tell them, either you going to follow my rules or you going outside. Which one you want to do? No, we're going to stay at home because we know outside ain't no joke.
Mm-hmm. Now,
see, when they put the power back in these children, I've been seeing this, Martin, for a long time. When they've been putting the power back in these children's hands, talking about, I'll call the police. That's what broke it right there. That's what broke the power of the parent. But you still got some old school parents out there that says, if you call the police, I'll see you when I get out.
Okay.
You still got some of them parents out there.
Okay. Now, I have a question for you. Are you working?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to drop $5,000 if you get fined right away?
Are you able to drop $5,000?
Yeah. Are you able to drop $5,000?
Is that the question?
Yeah.
No. Yes. That's the question.
Yes.
Okay. Am I able to drop $5,000? I would not.
Okay. All right. Now, the reason
you talking about for the child if they act out?
Yeah. And the reason, see, the thing is, this is what I want to do. When we make these calls and these judgment calls, if I may say, good or bad, right or wrong, whatever, let us consider ourselves too as well. That's all I'm saying. Put yourself in that situation. That's all I'm asking today. I'm not trying to judge nobody or saying that your idea is bad or it don't work, it won't work. I'm not doing that. I'm not here to do that.
Right, correct.
We're trying to get to the solutions. What are the solutions of
that's
problem?
It, the root of the problem.
That's all. If we can do that, I think we'll be okay. Now, we got to remember, we're not back in the 80s. We're not back in the 90s. We not even back in the early 2000s. So things are done different. You just said it. They took the power, a lot of the power, not all the power, out of the parents' hand. You guys, now you know black folks, you black yourself. We don't want the police at our house. And a lot of us, we're not criminals. I'm not a criminal. But I don't want the police knocking on my door.
That's it.
Period. I'm just being honest with you.
All right.
I don't want them knocking on my door. You know, and I'm not anti-police or nothing like that. Trust me, the more you get, the older you get, the more you appreciate the police. I'm going to just say that, put it out there like that.
Now I want to ask you a question, Martin.
Yes,
when you said that, did I have $5,000?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I had $5,000, I wouldn't pay it. But what I would do and say is, okay, if I had to pay $5,000, my child would be down there doing community service, working that $5,000 off. They ain't gonna like that too good. See, you got to put some pressure. If you ain't applying no pressure, they're going to keep doing the same thing. That's just like an adult, a young adult going to 26 in California, which I've seen and been down there, people dropping 10,000, 20,000 in their purse for their kid. And I'm saying, you a damn fool. Because all they doing, they're going to keep on doing the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. If you apply pressure, you got to apply some pressure. That's just like a parent saying, well, you can do this 1,000 times. You going to come in at 12 and 1 o'clock and you 14 years old. You telling me you going to do what you want to do? No, you're not. You got to apply some pressure. If you find these folks and tell them, okay, I give you a fine of 5,000, but you got to work that off. You got to go give me some community service. I guarantee you they ain't going to go do it 2 and 3 or 4 times. And then after the 3rd time or 4th time, then we know you got a problem. So now we're going to have some advocacy, some other programs and stuff to get you right. In place of that. See, that is the problem in Chicago. How do I know, Martin? I raised my hand when I got on the bus coming from Joliet to Chicago on Michigan Avenue. I had a young man get on the bus. I said, excuse me, can you fix your pants? Can you fix your hat? And the 5 elders behind me said, ma'am, I got to give it to you. Keep doing what you're doing, because we watched that young man do everything you told him to do, and he didn't have a problem. Now, that wasn't my child, but that's the way I came up. Other people are saying, oh, no, leave him alone, when he could be dead and shot because he got his hat turned to the right or to the left. You see what I'm saying?
I want to make a statement. Okay, I do CVI work. It's called Community Violence Interrupters Intervention.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm aware of it.
I learned that your approach, the energy that you approach, that I learned that. I mean, even the ones that you think that's so rough with their little Pushachi masks on, they're approachable.
Come on.
They are approachable. It's this one guy that walked past. I see you, Cole. I'm gonna get to you. This one guy, he walked past the office just about every day. Only thing you can see is his eyes. And me and him bump hands all the time, bump fists all the time. Hey, how you doing? I just speak to him. Eventually, I'm gonna have him in the office talking to him. Say, what's up, man? How can I help you? What's going on? But I'm building that relationship with him. Now, I don't know if he's a gun carrier. I don't know who's looking for him, or I don't know anything. But every time I see him, I speak to him. And we bump fists and say, how you doing today? Good. All it takes is to speak, people. You might not get a conversation with him the first 5 fist bumps. It might be the 20th. Then y'all get to talking.
Martin, let me hit you with another one when you're done.
Okay, all right. So what I'm saying is, people, I'm almost done, sister. All they want to be is recognized, acknowledged. Now, don't go to them.
That's it. Come
act
on
like
now.
you they mama and they daddy. They know who their mom and daddy is.
Yeah.
Say, young man.
Yes.
You're a handsome young man. Pull your pants up, man. You got a bunch of ladies
Come
over
on
here.
now.
I'm telling you, I've done it.
I've
done it, people. I've done it. I'm just telling you. When we walk these streets, it was I ain't gonna put the address out there. It was a porch full of guys, and I know they was gangbangers selling drugs. Everybody walked past. I said, hold on, y'all. Let me go up on these porches, shake every last one of these guys' hands. And that's what I did. Now, to tell y'all the backside of that story, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, one of them guys got killed. Probably hand I shook. I don't know which one. On that same exact porch, right in that little area right there. So, but I did show them some love. I showed them some love. I care. Well, you say, well, Martin, one of them same people, you bumping fists and shaking hand, they'll blow your brain. They probably will. But I always say, as just as much as they ready to kill, they better be ready to die when they come to me, because I believe in self-defense at all times. And I'm not talking that tough talk at all. We got a man on here, gentleman on here for law enforcement. I believe in self-defense. But guess what? I'm not going to go out there and initiate no conflict. I'm going to mind my business, and I'm going to keep my tone perfect. Go ahead, my dear sister. We got a new caller, but I'm going to let you go ahead. Go ahead, my dear sister. 3015. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, there's another scenario, as you were saying about our young people. I remember being on 59th Street and seeing a young man. I'm not going to disclose his name, but a lot of people know this young man. He's lived in, foster care, and I literally watched the elders watch him up and down the street. He was pushing a lawnmower, right?
Right.
So I asked him, I said, what you trying to do? He said, I'm just trying to make some money. And he went into how he didn't have his father and how he was abused in the foster homes. And he was just trying to make it, right?
Right.
So I got all the people in the community. People in the community to say, hey, let's get this young man some gas. He pushing a lawnmower, needing some gas. It's just like you said, just showing them some love, some guidance. That's all they need.
That's all. I agree with
It's a lot of children out here spending for themselves, Martin.
Yes, they are. I know. I work with them.
They on the red line, riding the red line with nowhere to go.
Yeah, and I tell people that, and see, young. I got to go to the next call. Older people. I'm talking to us now. I'm talking to us. We have so much hate for these young people. I mean, we have so much hate. We have no compassion for them at all. And they can feel that. They can feel it. We come outside, they stand in front of our house, we roll their eyes. We roll our eyes at them. We don't say nothing. Roll their eyes. And they know it. They can feel it. I used to tell young ladies, let me know if we still friends or not, because if I see you getting mugged or beat up or something, or your car on the side of the road, I know to stop or keep going. So you got to be careful how you treat people and what you say. But let's go to the new caller. Caller, I'm so sorry. Thank you for holding. 5277
Thank you, Martin.
Yes, come on, caller. You're welcome. Come on, caller. 5277.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
Good. Just wanted to make sure. I'm feeling what you're feeling in the sense that each individual was different. I was a good kid. I was an honor roll kid. But at the same time, I had two great parents. I took my butt outside to see my boyfriend while they were sleeping. How you going to blame my mom or my dad for that and charge them with what? I was wrong. And if something bad had happened, not that we went out to do anything bad.
Right.
I just wanted to see him, so he came back and picked me up. But we could have had a car accident. Anything could have happened. And now you going to find my mother and my father? They were asleep. So you going to find them for being asleep? The kids make decisions that they shouldn't make. Adults make decisions they shouldn't make. I see adults, grown adults older than I am, cursing around kids, little kids, and cursing around elders. Well, if you are giving that example to me as a child, what do you expect me to do? When I walk away from you, if you constantly cursing and being disrespectful, got all your breasts out, got the crack of your butt out, sagging your pants as a man, cursing, calling women bees, and all the things that adults do. And then we look at our president. Look at what he does. Every pink on his mouth is rude and obnoxious, but you still voted him into the highest office. He never did no community service. He never tried to do anything that improved anybody's life of his own. Yet you still voted him into office. It says something to our children. When we look and we see that, and when I hear people tell me, this lady that's my elder told me she was not going to vote during the time in which we were trying to vote for him or Kamala. Kamala is a prosecutor of criminals. He is a criminal, and you voted for a criminal. What does that say to my teenagers? All these stupid people that call in and talk, vote for him again. I vote for him 2 times, 3 times, and I'll vote for him again. Why? He already told you who he was before he got elected the first time. He said he grabbed women by their private parts. He was married to another woman, pregnant with his child, talking about grabbing somebody else by their private parts. He talked about going into the teenage locker room and seeing them undressed. Well, they couldn't do nothing about it because they had already taken their tops off or their bottoms off to change clothes, and he walked on in there because he owned that pageant. So what does that say to me as a teenager, as an adult, perverted man? That look at him. He got the office that everybody wants. He became president. He's worse than anybody that I know. All the time I was growing up, I thought you had to get good grades. You had to be mannerable and do the right things in order to ever become president. Now I realize, no, you can be the worst person, the most horrible thing to other people. He's so rude to other people. He's killing people and bragging about the fact that he killed them. He's just killing them. He's bragging about it. And then he goes over here and he totally destroys our country, our White House, everything is destroyed. And they still are on his side. That tells our teenagers something. And so when you look at all this happening, this is why our teenagers are in these things that they get into because they're like, what is the consequence? There was no consequences for the elders. Why would there be any consequences for me? I'm going to go over here and break this window and steal this or steal that. Why? The head of our country gets away with that. Our politicians get away with that. We keep hearing our politicians going to jail for taking bribes for little $5,000. They sit around here making 180 or whatever $1,000, and they sold a lousy $5,000 and went to jail for it. You gotta look at that. I am a child looking at you to show me better, and this is all we get. Even our greatest office, you rather have him in office than a prosecuting attorney of rapists and murderers. You don't want a prosecutor in there. You want the actual criminal in there. What does that say to us? Everybody point the finger at yourself. When you sitting here talking about how you would charge me because my son or my daughter slapped the teacher, did whatever. No, you know what you do? You punish my son or daughter. Punishing me ain't going to help my son or daughter. They can't feel my pain. So what you do is you punish me. If I was to slap my teacher, damn it, I need some consequences. Because that's the only way you're going to stop doing what you're doing is if there's some consequences. Your child knows better by the time, even if it's stated in the Bible, after 12 o'clock, their sins is on them. I'm sorry, 12 o'clock, 12 years old, their sins are on them. And so if their sins are on them after 12 years old, the consequences are on them after 12 years old. So if I could take my butt up in there, and even before that, because I was a smart little 5-year-old, so I wasn't about to hit my teacher. But if I decide that I'm going to hit my teacher, even when your kids, I have a sister who had a little boy who was always biting other people. You know, some kids just bite or they hit. Hit his ass back, bite him back, and he will stop. But biting his mother ain't going to change shit. He's going to continue to bite you. He's going to continue to hit you. But until you pop that little boy back, until you let him see what it feels like to be bitten, then he will not stop biting other little kids. Let's be honest with ourselves. Stop playing with ourselves. You punishing my mother or my father ain't going to do nothing for me if I don't went in there and slapped my teacher.
Well, I want to help you out on something.
Because maybe I want my mom or my dad to get consequences.
I want to help you out on something. I've been a student of the Bible for a long time. I've never read where it
You
said,
hear me, dear?
yeah, I hear you. I've never read where it said, if you're 12 years old, you account for your own. Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? I can hear you. You got to turn your volume down. But anyway, age accountability is when you know right from wrong. You could be 7 or 8, 10, 12, whatever. You know, it's no limit. There's no age limit. When you know right from wrong, that's when you're accountable for your actions. Period. So we're not gonna limit it to no 12 years old. No. You could be 10. You know better than going to slap that teacher. You know better to go in that store and steal take something that don't belong to you. Real talk. But I appreciate this. This is a great subject, man. And a lot of parents, you want to put the handcuffs on these young folks, but you won't put it on your own. You want to give yours a break. So I'm telling you guys. Yeah, thank you. Oh, let me grab it. Hold on. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, y'all forgive me, but so hey, I don't eat this. Yeah. But anyway. It's cool, but y'all want to have mercy on your children, but nobody else's child. Period. So while we making these decisions for other people's children that have teenagers, we need to hear from them. We don't need to hear from the grandmamas and grandpas and all that. We need to hear from the parents that have children that are teenagers. What are they thinking? What are they saying? Do we have any parents on here that have any teenagers that want to talk, to call in 872-299-0808? Call in. I want to hear from you. It's easy for me that don't have, well, I do have a teenager. I have an 18-year-old. But I want to hear from other people that don't have a teenager. Because if my daughter go out there and bust a police upside the head, then they want to find me now. You know, come on, that don't make sense to me. She know better, been taught better. She know right from wrong. So do we have any other parents that have any teenagers that you right now I need you to call in 872-299-0808. That would be great if you called in. Dr. Sanders, I see you. My law enforcement buddy, are you still on here?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay,
Mark.
you make any, the floor is up to you if you want to make any comments. Okay. Anything that we talked about. Go
One
ahead.
comment that you said, going back to the conversations I had with some of my cousins, and they did say this. Drugs, it normally goes like this. Why things kind of get so far-fetched with these teen takeovers? Because it's almost like, I guess, in our day and age, you know, people would get drunk before they went in the club. You start drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they start drugging and doing certain things prior to getting there. And as the time go on, they indulge, and it alters their behavior even the more so. Then that comes out in their actions. So that's another reason why sometimes things progress. Most teen takeovers don't start off at the level of violence that it ends at.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of it, they have no respect for law enforcement. So they feel like law enforcement, and they have this entitlement that they can just do what they want to do. So law enforcement agitates them,
Mm-hmm.
because in a lot of their minds, they have entitlement to do what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a combination of things that make the teen takeovers kind of go in the direction, but you hit on the head, which is the drugs. And a lot of them do have mental.
Mm-hmm.
Two of my cousins have some mental issues.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes what I learned from talking to them, they don't take their mental medicine when they're getting high.
Mm-hmm.
So if they know they're going out to get high tonight and tomorrow, they're not going to take their meds, because if they understand the two don't mix. And most of them won't take their meds because they know they're going to be drugging and having fun and doing what they're doing. And that creates a whole nother problem. So that's where a lot of the combativeness come from when the police have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's the issue is like I said, it has to be a balance. And my deal is, with all the money that our government has spent on different things, I think that even if you don't find the parents, let the parent and that child get intervention. Let them have to do some, could you get them some intervention, family-wise, mental-wise, and then to work out some type of scenario where they both together, you know, can deal with whatever. Now, a lot of this depends on the crime. Now, if you go out here and tear up somebody's $100,000 car versus you just getting into a fight with somebody or something. So it all depends on what's going on. But I think it should be some intervention there with the responsibility. And if the person is so, I heard somebody else say about the age, so what people are mixing up is, according to the law, unless you emancipated, at 18, your parents is no longer responsible for your actions. I have an 18-year-old, just turned 18 on the 11th. I heard you say you have an 18-year-old. It doesn't apply to an 18-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
The 18-year-old get arrested for the same stuff. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to call the parent or call whoever. The
Mm-hmm.
police doesn't have to do that. So this is pretty much from 17 and under. And as I said before, and I'm not going to make excuses, you know, for either side, but a lot of parents, and they don't want to admit it, but they've lost control.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say about, you know, the consequences and do this, well, how's the parent going to implement that? They can't even get their kid up to go to school. But they going to make sure the kid go for parenting or to do community service. Number three, the law will never allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I heard y'all mention, that would fix the problem. See, some of this is systematically set.
Mm-hmm.
They're not interested in getting to the root cause.
Mm-hmm.
If we went about just a few suggestions that was mentioned on here, that would help correct the problem.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want that. So the other deal of it, laws have to be passed
Mm-hmm.
in order to put any of that in effect that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And they will never do that because it's systematically set, some of this to happen like this, and they don't want to correct it. They don't want our kids to correct their actions and put them in a different place, even mentally. Because if you do that, now you begin to raise up the generation we should be. And that really makes us a threat again to them. So they're not going to have that. I work for the government right now. I can't say what I do. It's some law enforcement, but the government will never have that. Even your local government will not have that because it's not into fixing the problem. It's creating a problem that will accomplish their agenda and making money off of it. That's pretty much what it is.
And
that's all I have to say.
Let me say this too, and which I had learned this last year. CVI, community violence interrupters or intervention. Our job is just to mediate, not to lock you up, not to turn you in. Now, we can ask you to turn yourself in, but we don't turn you in. We here trying to diffuse the problem before it escalate. Some of these beefs out here are ongoing. We call them evergreen. They've been going on for years. This side of Cottage Grove versus this side of Cottage Grove. This side of Ashland versus this side of Ashland. This side on the viaduct going against this side. So what we're trying to do is diffuse a lot of things. Ask them what is it they need. Identify the problem. You know, that's what we try to do. We're not just all about lock them up. And don't get me wrong, some folks should be locked up. They should be locked up. They should be locked up because they can't fit in a society, in a civilized society without hurting folks. You know, I'm sorry, y'all. My phone ringing. Yeah. So this is real, people. This conversation is necessary, and I'm glad that we had it. And I want every parent that have a child that's 17 under, that have a teenager, get involved in conversations like this so we can have ideas on how we can deal with the situation. Because if we don't say anything, you're going to be paying big fines. You're probably going to be arrested later on in the future. And we don't know. You got 4 children. 3 of them are doing what they're supposed to do, and 1 is unruly, doing everything that he or she want to do. So why should we take you away from the 3 that's doing well because of the 1 that's doing real bad? We don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. We got another caller. We're going to take this last caller. But so what I'm just trying to say, people, have compassion when you think about this. Put yourself in that situation. Period. I heard one brother say, it's me today and maybe you tomorrow. Or it's him today and maybe you tomorrow. Either or. They can fight. Roles can change, man. A lot of us are 1 paycheck away from being homeless. The average business is probably 30 days to 60 days away from going out of business. So, hey, you could be up one day and down at the bottom. Everybody got their time.
Terry Goss.
Yes. Okay, we're going to take this last caller and see what he has to say. Hey, caller, 9430, the last 4 digits. What is it that you want to say?
Hey, Martin, thanks for the show.
No problem.
I think you can make this a little easier if you compare the children to a pet. And even though you have a pet and you're at work, you're still responsible for that pet. If that pet bites someone, you're still responsible. If that pet dangers or damages your car, you have to pay that person for the damage that your pet caused. It's the same for children. Until they reach an age of accountability, for they're responsible for their own actions, the parents are responsible for that child's action. You can't divorce it because you're at work or because the kids are among other kids and they're doing something and you can't be there with them. You're still responsible. So if they do damage downtown, wreck somebody's store, wreck somebody's car, I think that the parents have to pay for that damage. Just like earlier when I was younger, I was playing baseball. I broke a window. It was unintentional, but my parents paid for that window. They were responsible. They didn't do it. They could have been at work. They could have been somewhere else, but they're responsible for my actions until I reach the age of accountability. And that's the thing that we're at. We're trying to give kids a waiver because they're kids. And we're trying to give the parents a waiver because they didn't actually do the crime. It was their children doing it. But they're responsible for their children. Now, here's a way you can really get the clear view of it. Suppose there's something good that the child did. They performed in a civic affair, and it was a good cause. The parents would take responsibility for that. Hey, look at my child. They graduated from high school. They take accountability for the good that child did, but it seems as though they don't want to take responsibility for the bad that their child does. And if that child is out of your control, you did everything that you could do for them, and you still, they're still out of control. That's a sign that maybe either you're not a good parent or you got in over your head and parenting is not for you. That's how we can tell the people that parenting is not for, because they let it go and they can't control the kids. So it shows that parenting is not for them. They shouldn't have had children, or they should seek some additional outside help to help them raise their children.
I have a question
That's
for you.
where I feel. That's my opinion on it.
Okay, no problem.
You made three.
Yeah,
you made like 3 points. I disagree with all of those. I think all those points were parents' responsibility.
Okay, I have a question for you.
That's my opinion, Mark.
Okay, no problem. I mean,
What's
this ain't the type of show, if you don't agree with the host, I'm going to hang up on you. Oh, no, this ain't that type of problem, because I don't have all the answers. But a question I want to pose to you. Can a good parent still raise children who make terrible decisions?
Yes, but they're responsible for those decisions.
Okay.
That's my point.
Okay.
Yes,
now,
the child could, you could be good. You could do all you can.
Do you have any teenagers right now?
No.
Okay. See now, listen, that's what I was saying. Most people that's calling in, they don't have any teenagers, and they making these decisions. It's easy to say
what's your point about that?
Okay, what I'm saying is, it's easy to make a judgment call on that. But I want to hear from.
It's easy judgment.
Yeah, it's easy judgment because it don't apply to you, in a sense, if I may use that.
I don't own a dog.
Right.
Excuse me, Mark. I don't own a dog, but I could clearly see that if the dog bites the child out here, I'm responsible.
Of course.
I think you're using it as saying, well, you don't have any, so it's easy for you to say it. That's more like a
well, let me just say first of all,
the fact of the matter is you're responsible regardless of whether I have kids or the police got kids.
Well,
they
first,
can't arrest them because you don't have kids.
Right. Well, first of all, let me say this: I'm not too fond of nobody comparing humans to animals, pets. First of all, but the main idea, the main idea I'm trying to. Hold on, sir. The main idea I'm trying to get across. I understand what you're trying to do, trying to say. A human being can make a better decision than a pet. A human can communicate, can talk with us and everything. A pet can't. A pet, that's their nature.
For the pet,
but I'm just saying, animal nature is to bite.
Adding something on there.
I'm just saying, let's look at the nature of an animal, a pet, and look at the nature of a human.
You're drifting.
No, how's I'm drifting?
All I bring up the pet is a show of responsibility.
I know what you're trying to do, but
you're
what I'm
making
saying,
a comparison between pet behavior and human behavior.
So you're saying, but hold it.
You could get a leverage to slide out and say you can't use that comparison.
Sir,
you're trying to get a leverage point.
Sir, I never said that you couldn't use that. I said that we shouldn't compare pet behavior to human behavior. That's all I was saying. I said you couldn't use
behavior.
Yeah, but you said, but you did. Hold on. You did say if a pet go. Hold it, sir. You did say if your pet go out there and bite somebody, you're responsible for it, and you're 100% correct.
Right, responsible.
Right. But a human being can go out there. You telling me somebody that's 14, 15 years old that's been taught not to lay his hand on the teacher and go lay his hand or her hands on the teacher. The parent should be held accountable. I don't think so. Me personally, I don't think so.
We don't know if they've been taught or not.
Yeah.
We don't know if they've been taught or not.
We'll just say they've been taught. I just asked you a question. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, here's the answer to that question. Regardless of whether they were taught or not, regardless of if they acting as if they're an animal, regardless of whether the animal is acting irrational, all of that doesn't matter. The point is, if a act happens, who is responsible? That's the key. And just like you're responsible as a owner, suppose you have a car and you're responsible for that, a gun, you're responsible for that. So just as a owner, you're responsible for those actions.
So
now, whether it happened because you're an animal, whether it happened because somebody taunted the dog, whether it happened because the dog was on some medication, whatever the reason, that's just a detraction. The point is, no matter what the influence, you are responsible
so
for
you
that
telling
gun.
me, so you telling
You're
me,
responsible for that child.
Hold it. I heard you now. So you telling me if
until
my
they reach the age of accountability.
Sir, hold on. So you telling me my 15-year-old, which I don't have a 15-year-old, go out there, shoot at the police. I've never shot nobody, shot a gun carrier, forbid guns to come in the house. He go out there and make a bad decision, and you want to hold me accountable and not him holding him accountable. And he at the age of accountability. So make that sound kind of correct to me. This help me out there. You're a 15-year-old, no better. I don't have weapons in the house. Didn't raise you up with weapons. For some reason, you got this weapon on you that I have no knowledge of, and you go out there and shoot at an officer. Now, the officer, they want to come back and arrest me for something my 15-year-old son that's well aware of right and wrong, good and bad, raised correctly by his parents or parent. You want to hold me accountable? I don't think so. But let me go to the next caller. I'm going to go to the next caller real quick. 6112. Come on, caller. 6112. I think that's Rev the Barber. 6112. Go ahead, caller. I don't know what. Oh, hold on, y'all. My thing went off. Hold on, caller. Hold on, y'all. My Bluetooth went off again. It does that sometimes. Hold on. Let me get the Bluetooth back on there. Hold on, callers. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. I knew it was quiet for a minute. Hold on. Let me connect it back to Bluetooth. All right. Connecting. Hold on. I'm sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. Do that sometime. Hold on. It's trying to get connected now. My fault, y'all. I've been having technical time me to upgrade this phone over here. Hold on, let's see if it connects. It didn't connect, but I'll just put it on the microphone. Okay, go ahead. Talk. Go ahead. Rev the Barber real quick. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I get the question. I don't agree with what he is saying. So when we are born, when you have a child, right? First of all, if that's the case, the fathers should have a mandatory, and whoever in the room, you might as well say, hey, you in the room, you the father, you sign the birth certificate. You know what I'm saying? Even if that's not the father, you can't blame parents. And it's not always the case of that. Some of these kids are being raised in a household where it's inspiring them to do some of the dumb stuff, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you can find those parents and hold them responsible from the education and the misleading that they done did unto their children, then oh well, but you ain't gonna find them. You ain't gonna spend the time. That's just like with DCFS. They've been calling for years, you know what I'm saying? When you whip your child, when you tame your child, you discipline your child, somebody call the Department of Children and Family Services, and then they come and take your child because they say that's not your right or responsibility to tame your child. Now, that's what's been going on. The kids today call the police on parents because they say, they're not supposed to whip. But now I'm listening to someone say that if you have a disobedient child who don't listen, that you should be held responsible for the things that they take action of outside. Nuh-uh, not true. I won't even let that be. Now,
if the parents aren't responsible, who is?
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, though. Listen to what we just said. I said that if I would my child, I'm a parent. Listen, you talk to a parent that's going to discipline his child if he has to. Thank God I don't have to discipline my child or my children in that way. I can teach them. I can educate them from childhood, from birth, and that which I instilled in them and it's livable. You see it. You see the fruits of it. So thank God for that. But I'm talking about when you got children, like if my child were to steal my money, or my child were to steal my car, joyride with his friends, hit somebody, hit and run. That's not my responsibility.
Whose responsibility is it?
Well, whose responsibility it is for me? Whoop my child and get in their behind when they get out of line. It ain't your responsibility to take my child from me because of that. So
the child isn't of age of accountability yet. They're still under your supervision.
But listen to what I'm saying. No, under your supervision, not under your supervision. Let's go back to the first question. If my child were to do something that make me discipline my child, do I have the right to discipline my child? That's the first question for you.
Yes, you do.
Right. All right. Hold on. No, man, don't come with a certain limit. I brought my child in this world, I take my child out.
No, you can't.
That's I know you can't
murder your child.
I know you can't. But we tell our children that all the time to put fear in them. Now, question is, the next question. If I discipline my child, is it right for the state to come and question my discipline of my child?
Up to a point.
Discipline my child.
Up to a point, because some parents are half killing their kids.
Just right or wrong answer.
If I discipline, and the teacher says, "Hey, look, where'd you get those whelps and stuff from?" So some parents would overdo it.
All right, let's speak it in the matter of me. Let's speak it in the matter of me. I know how to do it. And I know how not to over. If I discipline my child, I got the right. If I discipline my child, the state don't have the right because that's my child. So what makes you think if I got a disobedient child, even after all the discipline, and that child go out there and do something wrong and get caught up, what gives the right out of all the hard work that I done instilled inside that child for me to be held responsible for that child action?
Well, if the child went out there and did it makes sense, because if your child went out there and did something good, you take credit for it. Hey,
so you must not have no children.
That don't matter.
You got children? It matters a lot. It matters a lot.
But if your son went out there and nothing under your control and did some good stuff, saved a good Samaritan and did something.
No, I ain't talking about we ain't talking about good. Don't say good.
Let me finish.
Don't say good.
Let me finish. Because and if they did and they were in the paper, a good Samaritan and blah blah blah, you take credit for that. They say, "Who's your son? How'd you raise you?" They give you credit for that because your child did good. Conversely,
okay. And you got some children out there that do good and daddies ain't been or mamas ain't been in their life and they don't get credit. Somebody else get the credit. So I'm not asking in that aspect. I'm asking you seriously. If me, like I got a child that's in college or that went to college, he got his own home, and my youngest child, he's the mini me. I don't have no problem with my children, so I'm asking you this question for a reason. If I discipline my child, and I got the right to discipline my child doing it right, then that's okay. If I discipline my child, and I got the right to discipline my child doing it right, the state don't have the right. What makes you think? Because there's a lot of parents out here that brought their child up, who clothe them, who feed them, who do everything in their power to make sure that their child do the right thing. You mean to tell me that if you was a judge, you would put a parent in jail after all the good that parent done tried to do, even though that child was delinquent to do what that child wanted to do and make a mistake? You mean to tell me that you're going to hold the parent responsible?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you ain't got no children. I'm definitely glad you ain't no judge.
I'm glad
that God is the judge. I'm glad that God is the judge.
Let me say my piece.
Hold on, I want to say this last thing.
No, but you asked me a question.
Hold on, I want to say this last thing.
Ask me a question. Let me answer it. Let me answer your question. You asked.
You answered already, bro.
I didn't answer it completely. If you go before the judge and you've done all you could do, Judge, I did everything I could possibly do. It's nothing else I could do. What could you accuse me of? That does not. You doing your very best. Your very best. Doing your very best does not waive the fact that you're still responsible.
Oh, come on, bro. I think you was gonna come with something crazy.
You asked the legal thing. You brought in the judge. because the judge is going to come in and say
Ain't no judge gonna sit up there and let you be in the courtroom and blame you for something that your child did when your child sit up there and was wrong. Your judge gonna get on your child behind and thank you for being a parent to do all you can do.
The child is underage. The child is not accountable
Ain't
for
no
the
matter
action.
about man, listen.
The child is not accountable for the action.
Where we come from down south, where my parents come from, well, like underage, 12 years old, but they were still going out there learning how to hunt and bring food back home.
Well, now what you just did, you tried to bring up another childhood act. Wait a minute, let me finish. Well, let me finish. You're trying to bring up another childhood act to nullify and help support your case by saying, look, we did this when they were young, so how come we can't do this? Being a good parent and doing all you can does not relieve you of your child's responsibility.
It's good if you're not a parent. And it's
Look
good
at it like
if you're not
this. Suppose you had a pet. If you had a pet and you
ain't no pet. Pets ain't got nothing to do with our children. Our children are not animals or none of that. They're not cars, material, none of that. We're talking about humans. We're talking about undeveloped youth age children. We're talking about developed age adults. We're talking about people. We ain't talking about animals, bro.
Okay, by your same fact,
animals can't think for themselves. A dog will walk out the street and get hit by a cop.
Okay, well let's use your example, the child. Let's stick with the child. I ain't gonna use the pet responsibility anymore. Okay, the child's mind isn't even developed. So the parent is like,
if I told my child all his life to do the right thing and be a leader, don't be a follower, watch your friends.
You're 13,
okay. All right.
You're out there, you're 13, 14, 15 out there. If that child hasn't developed yet, your mind is the child's mind. The child's mind isn't developed yet.
Okay.
So you're thinking for that child. You're giving them the roadmap through life because their mind hasn't developed.
Hold it. All right, hold it. Guys. Hold it, y'all. I need both of y'all. Hold it. Sir. Hold it. Sir. Do you know you're on a talk show? And I'm asking you, sir. Hold one mic. Let the host. Now I just let you rattle back and forth 5 minutes with him, back and forth. I'm asking on my show, can I talk? All right, now hold it. Just hold it. First of all, let's get some clear understanding of the rules. I don't mind you guys going back and forth, but when I cut in, I would like to speak. I'm open at this platform. It's open to the public. Okay, no problem. I mean, we all have different opinions and things like that. But let me just say that I don't care if a 15-year-old or 14-year-old mind is not developed. He knows right from wrong. His mind developed enough to know that he shouldn't be putting his hand on no teacher. His mind knows that he should not be shooting at no police officers. You shouldn't be carrying no gun. His mind is developed enough to know that. His mind is developed, so I'm not going to use that as no excuse as he's not developed. His mind, he knows how to put on his clothes, get on the bus, go to school, go to different classes. He know how to pick up a cell phone. He know how to use social media. His mind is developed enough to do that. His mind is developed enough to know how to go in the store and count money. So that's no excuse for a young person.
Yeah, that is a good excuse, Mark.
Yeah, that's
because the judge will not hold somebody undeveloped responsible for that act.
Well, that's why we got. Hold it. Hold it, y'all. Reb. Yeah, hold it. We know that's a lie. Hold on. We know that's a lie. I'm gonna tell you how I know that's a lie. Why you think they got juvenile delinquent court and jails and stuff like that? Why you think they got that? Because they holding the juvenile, not the parent. Hold it. They charge juveniles as some adults. They charge them right now. Hold on. We got court right now. Okay, why you think, sir, I ask you, sir. We have juvenile court, not adult court, juvenile court. For a reason. They charge juveniles, okay? We know that right here in the city of Chicago, probably all over America. It's called juvenile court, not adult court, juvenile. They have a place where they lock up juveniles that commit
Your
crimes.
point.
My point is, they're showing you, they're telling you that they are responsible enough to do the crime. We're going to lock them up and charge them. And they do charge
Now you know
juveniles.
that don't even look at the past.
Hold on, no. I mean, this is, hey, brother, this is facts. Okay, hold on. What I just said, is that a lie? I'm asking you. Hold on. Yeah, is that a lie?
No, that's not a lie.
Okay.
They have juvenile court, but they be charged on a juvenile level.
Of course. So why would you charge? Hold on. Of course. But they're being charged.
Brother, you know what it means. You know what it means.
He know what it is. He can't
You
twist
know
me
what
up.
it mean, though.
He can't twist me up. He know what it is.
You go to juvenile jail for stealing cars.
Yeah.
You go to juvenile jail for being a delinquent, bro. That's doing right from wrong. You're choosing wrong from right. And your parent's not responsible. So they ain't knocking you and putting your parent up in juvenile with you. You went up there and did wrong, bro. Listen, what are you not getting about what we saying? You can't have children.
Well, but what are you saying?
What we saying is children know right from wrong. Juveniles know right from wrong. Parents should not be responsible for a juvenile act. That's what we're saying.
Who should be?
The juvenile.
Then you're for locking up the juvenile.
Hell yeah.
They're not developed.
No, I ain't for locking them up. I'm for giving them help. See, that's the problem. Y'all lock them up, and then, like, if you go down there to the juvenile detention center, they ain't got nothing other than got them kids in cages. What else do you bring to these kids in the social world or in any type of world? How do you turn them around? You can turn a delinquent around, man. But when y'all just think about locking them up, hell yeah, make them juvenile. Yeah, you got to let them taste that. They got to taste and see what it feels, especially today, or they're going to get back out here and continue to rob you. And then you're going to continue to want to call the police. So, no, I'm not for locking them up. I'm for rehabilitation. And you can rehabilitate a child by showing them a taste of handcuffs, by putting them in the system with the point of letting them be waved away from the system. You ain't got to hold their name and follow their juvenile record all their life when they decide to change their life.
You saying they're rehabilitate them and don't mess with the parents, and everything will go away. We just rehabilitate them and don't blame the parents. Everything will be all right.
Well, when you talk about rehabilitation, how do you this a thing? We don't rehabilitate.
You brought up rehabilitation. You said the solution was rehabilitation.
We don't rehabilitate right. We don't do it right, bro. We do it the way that the European man said do it. We rehabilitate our children the same way that the slave master rehabilitates the slave.
You're saying we need to rehabilitate them, but the way that we're doing it now, rehabilitation is wrong.
It's not right. It's not rehabilitation.
What's the right way to rehabilitate? Without
the way that I do it. The way that I do it. The way how you enter into a child's life and you minute by minute, whether you're a parent or not. That's how you do it. You really care. You really try to find a way to get that child, teach that child skills.
Well, what are we supposed to do? Get the crowd from downtown, and we're supposed to mentor them one by one.
I don't even like them words no more, bro. They so whitewashed now. They so washed up now. Them words, mentor and all that. There ain't no mentor.
But how you gonna rehabilitate them one by one? You need a mentor.
Well,
I show you 5 of my kids right now who ain't my own kids. And I don't know what they go through when they go home, but at the same time, when they around me, they rehabilitated. They well-mannered and all of that.
Well,
they obedient when they around me.
Let me say this, Real. Let me just say this.
I'm just saying parents are responsible.
Okay.
To be involved
Well, let me say this. For those of you that are grown now and moved on, have grandchildren, I have 5 children. My youngest is 18. I've never lost none of my children to the street. 5 grandchildren, none of them to the street. Now, are they perfect? I would say no, but I didn't lose none of them to the street. I'll say that much, and I can say by God's grace. And I want to say we have to really be careful, people, when it comes to parenting. You know, it's almost like a man that never been married. He's trying to counsel a man that's been married. It's kind of difficult because he don't know. It's kind of difficult.
That's a weak support
Right,
case
right,
there,
right.
brother.
Well, but I'm just saying
See,
we could
you're
not.
acting as
We,
if
we,
parenting just was just
we-
invented.
we-
We've been
we-
doing this for centuries.
right. But
We just have a
You're not a parent,
generation
though.
some acting up.
But
we've
see,
proven
the
this
thing
for
is,
America
first of
for years.
but see,
Parenting
but
is nothing new.
sir,
We know
sir,
how to parent.
so
We know how to
sir,
deal with kids
sir,
of
sir,
disobedience.
sir.
Why is it so difficult?
Let me just say this. Let me just say this. I don't know what it's like to be high because I've never been high. You know, drunk. I think I'm just saying I've never experienced a person that's more qualified to speak on that subject than I myself. Now I know about what it does to you, and just like a person that's hooked on drugs, pills, and I've never popped a pill, so I don't know what it's like to be off on a pill. Now I've seen people reaction and what they've done while they're on a pill. Is some things people are more qualified to talk about than myself. It's almost like
It all depends on the person and how
Right.
much experience
right,
they have.
right. Well,
Because if you take that stance, you'd have to question every juror and make sure they had kids and that they're
Yeah.
able and qualified,
Yeah, of course.
experienced.
Of course.
You go,
Well, that's why they have jury selection. That's what they do. They have jury selection.
Yeah, but
And they pick the juror based on their qualifications that they feel.
That's a different selection process.
No.
You can't turn around and say
No,
cannot
brother,
give a qualified
brother.
judgment because you haven't experienced
No.
this exactly. like
Brother, I didn't say.
they did.
I
Well,
just
you
gave a
never had
scenario.
anybody that-
I just gave a scenario.
Yeah, but you
If
would never
I
have anybody
here I am. I've never been high
that
before.
never committed a murder.
Hold on. I've never committed a murder. I never committed a murder, so I don't know what a murderer going through in their mind. Hold on, y'all. We're not gonna do no Jerry Springer here. We're not gonna do no shouting match here. First of all, one mic. I've never committed a murder, so I don't know what it feels like to murder somebody. I don't have a body out here. Some guys out here have 2 or 3 bodies. They know what it's. I don't know what they go through in their mind. You know, you got some people out here that shed innocent blood. They killed people that didn't deserve to die. They didn't have anything to do with what they had going on. So I don't know what's going on in their mind. Sir, I'm talking.
Y'all not murderers.
Right. So, no, I didn't say that. I'm saying I don't know how he feel. Sir, I don't know how he feel. I'm not an expert on every subject, and I don't claim to be and know everything on certain things. Some things I have to sit and listen and watch and learn. So listen, it's like me. I've never had cancer before. You have people that are cancer patients, have beat cancer. They experience chemotherapy, taking medicine. They experience the highs and lows of it. I don't know what it's like. I know the effects. I've seen people lose weight, die, eyes sinking back of their head, and lose, just different things. Certain things I know of, but never experienced. I'm not saying.
Doctors don't experience the disease that they treat, but they know of.
Right. I didn't say. Hold it, sir. Sir, I don't care what you say. That doctor that's treating cancer don't know what it feels like to go through cancer. He's treating it. He don't know what because he's never had it. He didn't. He don't. Right. I'm just saying. Right. Well, listen. When you get some children, when you get some children, maybe you need to come back and because see, if you notice people, just listen. Let me just say this to the audience. If you notice the people that don't have no children, hold it, sir. This is sir. Listen. If you notice people, sir, if you notice people that don't have no teenagers, they speak differently than the ones that do have teenagers. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. Sir, I'm not going to keep talking over you now. I don't know who you are, but you're not going to keep talking over me. You're not going to do that. But anyway, what I'm saying, people, this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying to all the people out there, ask yourself a question. Why is it that, oh, my camera went out. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. All right, my camera went out. But I'm going to get ready to close out anyway. Camera went out anyway. camera went out anyway. So why is it that people with children think different with people that don't have teenagers? I'm going to leave that question, and we'll probably come back to this sooner or later. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. This is live, uncut, unedited. Thank you, Reb. Thank you, all the callers and everything.